All right, so we were going to talk about Revelations, except for the problem is Alex has only played like one chapter of it. How are we going to talk about it without giving stuff away for Alex?
No, he can
Oh
be
well,
the
I'll have to
cameo
get.
appearance.
Well, I mean, normally, you guys
We'll
would,
mute him.
yeah, you guys would
Okay,
normally do your
earmuffs.
reviews so that there weren't too many spoilers, so that people could,
All right, we could talk
We
pick up
did?
the game
non-specifics.
I don't
afterwards.
remember doing that.
That was a
Well,
long time ago.
well,
2 hour
I guess
reviews
when
pretty
it's a
much walked
story-based
us
game,
through the game.
yeah, yeah.
Let me see.
Well, I mean, don't
Okay.
mind me.
All right, we'll just all talk in general. Well, you've had a chance to at least
Well,
play it through. Which control
Here,
system are you
let me
using?
guess. Episode 2, you walk down some corridors, you open some doors, you shoot some zombies.
You'd think that that's all that the game entailed after you play like the first chapter, but it really isn't. The game moves on to all sorts of different things. Well, let's I don't even. What are we gonna call this thing? We're just gonna.
or are we going to do like a 1 year discussion?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Why don't we just blab about 3DS for a little bit, and then we can maybe do like a little Revelations review?
That sounds good.
Awesome.
I don't know. I mean, whatever.
What sort of names?
I'm
do we
actually
come up with?
I'm actually at the very end of the game. I got to that big tentacled thing where you're shooting the
Yeah, the worm
you
things
know.
coming out of it.
Now, see, that didn't spoil anything for me. I'm just hearing about tentacle things and worm things. It's
Yeah.
like it's meaningless to me.
Sweet.
Right. I might as well be speaking about some kind of anime rape porn. Right?
Yeah. Hentai. No, they you still got the cool part is it's not over with that. So you'll be happy to know that you've got quite a bit more to play still. So that was the part that always
Well,
bummed me out.
Yeah, I'm on chapter 12.
Yeah, but there's more.
so
There's a second half of chapter 12 that you'll get to play. So
Cool.
that's
no,
cool.
all right, cool.
So you're not immediately done. So anyway, well, okay, well let's we've gathered together here today to talk about the 3DS. Now this is like the one pretty close to the 1 year anniversary, which is what March 27th or something was.
Believe so.
Something like that. Yeah,
Somewhere in the end of
it's
March,
a
right?
gathering of ambassadors.
Yeah, we are actually all ambassadors. We all paid $250 for a 3DS
We've gathered here at the
Yeah.
embassy.
at the the Google Hangout Embassy to talk about the 3DS and what we've seen, and we'll compare and contrast. And it wasn't that long ago. It doesn't seem like that we were all sitting around here talking about the DS. God, what was the release date on that? That was 7 years? No, is that
November
7
of
years?
04.
Oh my God.
November of 04.
Right.
So you got we're heading into the 8th year. If you think about it, this is probably Nintendo's longest running console since the original Game Boy.
That's
Sure.
crazy, man.
I mean,
Well, and-
if
and
you
with the-
count the Game Boy Color, that was about 9 years later. I mean,
Wow.
that came out in '98. So
And there's still a Pokemon game coming out in the future, so the DS isn't quite dead.
Boy, I'll tell you what, games have sure dropped off for that beastie, though. I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
it is crazy. Like, it's almost like the Sega Dreamcast. It's like overnight, it's like, where the hell are the DS games at?
I think
there's-
Nintendo still has a Kirby game planned for it.
I think so, too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
another
it's-
Kirby game.
Yeah, that's good. My kid will love it. My kid loves Kirby games. So, that's all good. So, yeah, well, I'll tell you, what do you, give me you guys' thoughts on them. On how did you think the 3DS would be the success, or did you have doubts?
I had
Well-
doubts.
I
Well,
just
go
lost
ahead.
my fidget toy. All right.
Yeah,
go ahead, Alex.
I thought it was going to be business as usual until the first
sorry.
couple months, and things started getting really, really bleak in terms of sales, and there really wasn't a lot releasing. I think I didn't buy the whole thing that pricing was the main issue, but I guess I was wrong, because the minute that price cut came and
Yeah.
a lot of the launch games started to drop in price, and you could pick up some of the launch games at $20 and that kind of thing. I think sales picked up, and it's a completely different story now.
Well, I know I bought more when the prices started dropping. I'm sure Chris did too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, the games started coming through and things have picked up. I mean, if you would have said to me a year ago, will it be as nice as it is now? I mean, I'm starting to gather a backlog of 3DS games, which is pretty
Nice.
amazing.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, and there's so many more coming. That's the best part. It's like when you have a pipeline. It's like finally, now we can actually look forward to some stuff. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, everything else like up to Revelations, was like, yeah, this is cool, this is cool. Mario Kart 7, sweet. But then after Revelations convinced me that this platform's here to stay, which is one of the reasons why we're all here talking, is talk about Revelations.
Yeah, it's using that extra 20th percentile of the system's power. Remember that they left behind for the OS or UI or whatever? Remember that?
Yeah, right.
There was a little rumor that was going around that the Revelations, they somehow Nintendo lit that extra bit of power out that was supposed to be there in the background, I guess, to help gather along and keep the OS to maintain that, multi performing structure where you could, boom, get out of a game and check your friends list and
Right.
check your little things at the top there, notifications, without losing the game's information. So I think, from what I understand, I don't know if it ended up being true, but they're saying the reason Revelations looks so amazing is because Capcom took advantage of that little bit of extra pep that was just put aside for that reason,
Yeah, there's supposedly a clue that you can tell which games are using that feature, and that's if your friends can't see you online. Because the Zelda is the one that does that as well.
Really?
I think a couple of the first party ones where if if your friends log in and you're playing that game, they don't see you online like they would with the normal games, which kind of breaks that whole that whole function. But
Yeah.
I'll take the streamlined game any day.
Hells yeah.
It kind of worries you because here we are just within the first year, and it's almost like we've already pressed the limitations of the system, in a way. And you're kind of thinking, maybe a couple years down the lane, they would have maybe let this loose.
Bless you.
My goodness.
Well, there's another factor to that, and that's as the developers get a little bit more proficient at coding and under the new environment. We saw it on DS. When we saw games like Final Fantasy III, we were kind of blown away at what they were pulling off. There was nothing at launch that looked anything like that, even out of Nintendo.
Yeah, and we're still, I would still consider us in first generation of 3DS games at this point, maybe second gen. And I'm telling you, if everything looks and plays like Revelations, I'm happy as a camper with the platform, to be honest with you. But here's something weird, though. I swear, while I was playing Revelations, I was seeing the orange light flickering like somebody was logging in. You know how it flickers when one of your friends logs in?
Really?
I swear,
yeah.
I could have been
Yeah.
maybe on the menus. Maybe it doesn't disable it until you actually get in the game. But I was sure when I was playing the game that it was flashing. So I was thinking, I wonder if that's Chris. We could hop on and play raid mode.
Well, that's possible. I'd read that. I wasn't 100% positive that it was the case in Revelations, but I know that games like Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and I think Super Mario Land 3D are ones where you can't see folks while they're playing.
Well, let me tell you, from the 3DS has already excelled in one area that I didn't expect it to, and that's the shop. Let's talk about that for a little while because, frankly, yeah, the games are still kind of hit and miss, and we have a couple of AAAs and a couple of AA and a whole lot of A's and maybe a couple of B's. But boy, the 3DS shop is insane, right?
Yeah, I wonder whether or not that's by design. Whether
It's an accident.
Nintendo's well, I mean, the way that the DSi worked out, it was horrible. There was some good stuff on there too, but every week you looked at what they had and there was like zero interest. And
Yeah.
a lot of the games were pretty much flash games. Just that there was this. It's looking a lot like the Apple App Store, but yeah, it seems like they're carefully picking which games get released, and I'm wondering if they're not rejecting stuff and using that whole old Nintendo seal of quality stuff behind the scenes, because it's just, I'm looking at the stuff I have installed now, and it's all good. I haven't regretted not one purchase on the original stuff.
Chris?
Well, Pushmo's awesome. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, yeah.
When that came out, that kind of said to me, "Ooh, this is something to be reckoned with, especially compared to the DSiWare store." And then, it seems like every week for the last few weeks, we've been getting just one after another hit. And it's just been picking up speed left and right. So it's great. I mean, even that little putt-putt golf game that just came out, I mean, I was shocked that it was only $5, which I think is pretty reasonable for it.
Dude, I'm totally hooked on that game.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm having a good time.
doesn't that game come across like it I could really have seen that as a $20 bargain title, and it was $5.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
right.
It's top notch. I mean, they did a great job, and in the stores just loaded with this crap. That's what's that samurai game?
Sakura Samurai.
Sakura Samurai. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it's like Chris said. It's just like every week. It's just like cool new game. I'm getting backlogged on eShop games. Now, what the hell is that all about? Now that's
I think I'm only around level 65 of Pushmo. I mean, I pick it up here and there on the crapper, but it's still a nice game to have handy. You pick it up, play a level or two, and you move on to something else. It's a great little pick up and play game. Although there are times where you can get really sucked into it, where you just kind of like shoot out maybe 5 or 6, 7, up to 10 levels at a time. But then as the levels have been getting harder, it's a little harder to sit and say, I'm going to play 10 of these in a row. And it takes you like 20 minutes to finish one of them. So early on, it's a little easier to do that. But I haven't tried the Dylan's. I don't even. What is that game called?
Dylan's Rolling Western. I actually
Western.
picked it up, played the first level. It's fantastic, but same thing Shane said. I'm starting to get backed up on some of this stuff. It's and they're saying that that's like a 20-hour game.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like I said, this golf game. I just started playing a little bit. And I unlocked that trick shot. Son of a bitch! I'm hooked on that game. I'm sitting here looking over at my 3DS right now, going, I wonder if I could knock a couple of trick shots off while we're doing this.
What I like about the golf game is the extra little purchases you can make. That keeps the playability there, where you have to get the coins and you got to unlock stuff. That stuff to me just that pushes me over the limit. I love that stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, and it's such a greed game. That trick shot is so greed oriented. The fact that you have to do as many bounce because it advances the multiplier every time that you hit a wall.
Sure.
That's just I'm so greedy. I want to sit here and do like 17 bank shots. Uh-oh.
Is he all right?
I don't know. I think he went to get that touch golf game. He said he wanted to play now too. He's all
It sounded so good.
That sounded good. Yeah, I love that.
Have you tried Carnival Games Wild West for 3DS?
I tried for like 2 seconds and it wouldn't work. I mean, it doesn't work for me at all.
Really, I find that there are a lot of the mini games have those same kind of aspects.
Really?
To them
okay, I'll go back and play it some more. I only played like 3 or 4 of them, and I was kind of out of it at that point. It's just like, okay, I'm not going to play this. Another one of those things that Chris will give me crap about. Another game that I bought that I don't play.
Well, that's usually that's what you guys are. You guys are these collectors that you end up. Oh, I got to grab that. Oh, I got to grab that. Oh, I got to grab that. I'll ask you later on. Hey, how far have you gotten? No, I got to be honest with you. I think I've only played that about an hour, and that was like 5 months ago.
Yeah, well, we tend to get good deals though. Alex and I seem to manage to get the good deals where we're only paying like $5-10 for a game, and
yeah, exactly.
Then it's like, oh, if I get 3 or 4 hours out of it, I'm good to go. But see, you thought Revelations was going to knock me off, and I wasn't going to be finishing that, but boy, I got hooked on that bad.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't even think you'd be into Revelations. I'm
surprised both of you guys got into it.
Well, it's RE4.
Yeah, well, because neither of us are huge Resident Evil fans. So, but the fact that the game is so close to Resident Evil 4 in playability, it just sucked me right in. Yeah, the demo didn't help me at all.
No.
But
if it had been RE5, if it had felt and acted like RE5, I wouldn't have been into it at all. I don't think. Because I played RE5 on the 360 for a few hours, and it's just like not feeling it. Doesn't feel like Resident Evil to me.
No.
So, but this does, and don't worry, Alex. There's a lot of doubling back, and you do spend a lot of time on the ship, but you'll spend a lot of time off of it too.
Cool.
So that's cool.
Well, what's cool about the game is it transplants you to different locations. So, but on the other hand, that one review, what was it? I think Giant Bomb. I actually read the review for that, and the guy did have a kind of a little bit of a good point in that review, in that it just as you're getting sucked into a certain aspect of the game, like 1 minute you're creeping down the halls of the ship, and you don't know what's around every corner. It's dark. Stuff's dripping. it whisks you out and takes you to a completely different environment.
It's true.
And it kind of throws you off a little bit because certain parts of the game just aren't as creepy and don't have that same kind of eerie mood to it. You know, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but there's points where I do agree with that, where you're just like in Resident Evil 4, no matter where you went, things just had that seeming dread to it, and you knew you were in the same basic area. But this is almost like it feels like more of a globe-trotting adventure, you know, where you're just put in all these different places.
I think they did that intentionally.
I'd say that caters to the I'd say that caters to the kind of ADD generation where they can't focus on one thing for very long before it switches to another.
I think it's technological.
In this case, I think it was a story thing. They were trying. I mean, as far as you can push a story in this kind of game, but I think they were trying to set things up. And there were a couple moments where I said to myself, "Whoa," and Shane will know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the ship. Remember, and it's like you end up,
Yeah, I know.
Let's just put it this way: you're not where you thought you were supposed to be, and that was pretty cool how they did that. So
yeah, there's a couple of good little twists in the game, which is neat. I think they did it personally.
Little gotchas.
I think they did it for a technological reason. I think that in order to keep the flow of the game going, the game's brilliantly done in the fact that you're on a ship, right? But they have to keep loading new scenes, and these scenes aren't like the mansion. You know, some of these things are huge. Like this orchestra or this opera ballroom is literally just freaking huge, and the asset load must be super heavy. But you'll also find out that on either side of the opera room is a load point. So the opera room itself is so opulent that that's it. That's all they could afford to have in memory at the time.
Wow.
And but they do it clever, right? Like, you got your standard between scenes, but then you have like the elevator shift. You'll get in an elevator, and while the elevator's moving you, then that's when the game's loading.
It's like in Mass Effect. It's the Mass
Effect. Same idea.
No, yeah, that's legendary. I mean, if you do a Google search right now, you'll find it. But they would keep the loading times in the elevator, so you get this music and everything. It was like the longest elevator ride ever. You literally be going from first to second floor, and it's like a 5-minute like do 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 do. It's like, wow, where are we going here? I mean, we're in space. You think we were in spaceships. The elevators would be somewhat more technologically advanced.
Yeah, there's actually a name for that. It's like it's something loading. There's some sort of a technical name for it when they actually they mask the loading by using some gaming event. But so you've got that, and then you've got this point where you'll open up a door, and most of the time you'll spin the little captain's wheel on the door, and then the door will open and you go in. But in other areas, you'll spin the captain's wheel and it'll just sit there and it'll spin and it'll spin and it'll spin, and it's loading the next piece of the game.
Yeah, you're trying to reload. It's like...
Yeah, it's like, and it gets all stuttery and stuff, but but that's okay. You'd rather have it, do that than, I mean, I could get all my weapons reloaded from floor 1 to, between the bridge and the promenade deck, So anyway,
and then that's when Jill, especially with Jill's ass drops from 60 to 12, so it's just not as smooth.
Yeah, well, you don't need to be able to see Jill's ass animate to know that it's good. Yeah, that's good stuff. Boy, I'll tell you what, man.
You just know when the poor DS is chugging a little bit.
Yeah, Well, see, but I think that's why they keep the scenes isolated like that. They start you on the ship, and then they move you to someplace else, and then someplace else. I think they do that so they don't have to swap common assets as fast. I don't know. I'm not a developer, but I would guess that along with the ADD thing, where it's like, I'm still on the boat. I'm so sick of seeing boat walls. Oh, well, here, let's throw you on the beach, or let's throw you, in this other complex. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it was an ADD thing, to be sure.
Hey, well, one thing I found interesting in talking to both of you guys about the game, you got your two screens, your two different views, and two different control methods, right? I mean, Shane, you're using the circle pad add-on, and Chris, for the most part, I think you're using the gyro sensor, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of this,
System flaw.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't really play in the dark like that, though, right?
Huh?
You can't really play in
it
the.
works.
It's
Are
not
you kidding?
using it's not using
That's-
camera differential. It's using an actual gyro.
No. It's using the internals.
Oh
I mean,
wow!
it's like a compass, in a way. It's keeping a center point, and then it's basing it on where you're at. And no, I mean, it's just like, have you ever played? I hate to bring this up. Would you ever play any of the iPod Touch when they first put the gyros in there? Remember, or whatchamacallit, the
Home Run Derby?
Steel Diver. It's like
Oh,
Steel
yeah,
Diver.
yeah.
It's the same idea as Steel Diver.
Yeah, I
When
think
you're when you're playing the through the periscope.
yeah, I think Alex's confusion was System Flaw. System Flaw uses a camera differential to read movement, and if it's all
Right.
dark and there's not,
okay.
if you don't have a disparate background, then basically you're trying to move it around and it's not working
Gotcha.
as well as
Yeah.
it should. That was on the DSi, so
I never played
Well, I
it.
guess
but,
that's a good thing, and it probably adds to the accuracy because
yeah, much better.
I couldn't imagine using a system flaw type.
Oh yeah, totally
controls.
different. Totally
well,
different.
it wasn't until this last couple chapters that I've gotten anywhere below. I mean, I've been averaging around 80%, and I think my lowest has been 72 for the most part. But then in the last chapter, I finally did hit like 60. But that was when I was fighting that big boss.
I know
And
which one you're talking about. It
One rocket
sucks.
launcher is probably counting as 20% loss in accuracy or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was wondering how you were going to handle that using the gyro. I'm glad that you're still doing
I
it.
pulled
okay.
it off second time. I got him, and
Very cool.
And a lot of actually the most I've died has been the timed instances. There's some instances where you're timed and you got to get to a door fast enough before that timer runs out, and that's what's been killing me. But
Yeah.
the only drawback to the gyro is you can't use the 3D very effectively because as soon as you move that DS just a centimeter, you're seeing 4 of everything.
Right.
So I mean you can't play with the gyro when you're moving around, but what are you going to do? I mean, I'm not going to spend $20 on a circle pad that I don't know if it's going to be a proper investment just yet. So
Yeah, I'm still all gung ho on the circle pad, at least for this game. But what are you playing
for
with,
anybody
Alex?
who's interested, the gyro does work.
It does. I mean,
Well,
I did try it. What is Alex using?
I've got the circle pad, and I find it. I find it to be just fine. I like most games of this type, and particularly Resident Evil games. I find myself overcorrecting in movement, so I'm actually a little interested in trying the gyro thing. I haven't tried that.
You should try it. I mean, you're early enough in where you're not. I always said that if as long as you don't have the circle pad for a couple of episodes, you're not already hooked on it. I think the gyro would be fine. For me, I fought the gyro because I was so used to the circle pad.
You're spoiled.
I was
yeah.
spoiled. But I think the gyro is a neat piece of technology, and bless Capcom for giving us 7 different control methods.
Hey, can you
Yeah, I mean,
imagine
that's
trying to
pretty
QA
easy.
both those methods?
Oh hell no!
Yeah.
God, that would suck. I mean, you'd have to have like 3 or 4 teams doing that crap.
Not to
the
mention, I
controls are
guess they
so
have
crazy.
the regular non-circle, non-gyro control too,
They
right?
do. They have the ones where you use the buttons to actually look around. They've got that mode. They've got ones. What are the other ones where you actually can use the screen? I think in aim too. But we know how well that works. Like Metroid Prime Hunters. That works so good. Boy, my hand was cramped like nobody's business playing that.
Well, that's one thing I gotta give Capcom. The amount of control features and options that they have in this game is just insane. I mean, Shane and I were just saying the other day that here it took us 3/4 of the way through the game before we even realized that they actually have an invert axis just for swimming controls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were like, whoa.
Yeah, the swimming. There's a swimming portion where if you don't have inverted controls, it is, I'd say next to impossible.
Wow.
Yeah.
But here's what's funny. I don't think the controls open up for you until you've been to the area that can use them. I swear I never saw swimming controls until after I said, I got to find a way to invert this. And I went back and
I
was
agree.
like, swimming? Well, what the hell? I would have inverted this too if I'd have known.
Right.
So I think they
Put
add
the
those
gunship controls on there.
Yeah, and there's one other invert mode too, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there's another one that gets added too later on. So keep checking back if for some reason you're fighting the controls, the control patterns might change for you. So,
What perspective are you using to shoot with? Are you using the third person, or are you doing
I'm using the first person.
first
My
person?
my
Yeah.
my time with Call of Duty has served me well in getting that.
Yeah.
And I figured that
I
would
ended
give
up
me.
switching to that.
Did you? I
Yeah.
thought it gave
probably
me
need to
more
do that.
view.
I had no clue that there was a first person. I've been doing the over the
Yeah,
shoulder thing.
I like the over
yeah,
the
you
shoulder
can
in 4.
switch. Yeah, that's why I had that on originally. But then once I switched to the gyro controls, and I mean, which was pretty much right away. I mean, when
Oh, we're losing Chris. Here he goes. He's going to drop off.
Yeah.
Here he goes. Chris, if you can hear
Thanks,
us, we can't hear
Microsoft.
you. Oh, here we go. Is he back?
I'm
I
back.
think
Okay,
there he
that was
is.
Hello.
crazy. Hey, is this thing
Hi.
on? Yeah, you're back now. You just went stuttered and then gone.
Lag spike.
I
Lag
better
spike.
pause that download here. Let's see.
No porn while you're recording the show, okay, pal? But yes, what were we talking
Yeah, so
about? Yeah, the first person.
no, what I was saying was, I mean, I know I originally was thinking I was going to use that because I liked it so much in Resident Evil 4, but then once I realized that you could play this game via the demo, I mean, I found it out with the gyro. That to me was the selling point. When I got that gyro control on and I saw that I could play it with that, I said, all right, I'm digging this game a whole lot more. I didn't want to have to get that Circle Pad Pro and then find out I didn't like the game,
Yeah,
after the fact,
it's understandable.
So, but the first person, or yeah, I guess first person view, just like in Call of Duty, what
Yeah.
we're all used to, it works great with the gyro.
Yeah, plus it
Yeah, I
gives you
need to
more
switch that
visibility.
up.
It gives you more visibility too. When you get swamped
Mhm.
with these little
Yep.
bastards, and you want to be able to see as much as you can, especially when you're fighting one of the bosses towards the end. You want as much visibility as you can.
So,
Oh,
Chris,
definitely.
you mentioned the 3D kind of when you're playing with the gyro, the 3D kind of effect gets blurred out. Are you playing in
Well,
3D or are you playing in 2D?
no, I was fighting with it for, I mean, I think I'm at chapter 12 now. I was playing up to about chapter 5 or 6 with the 3D on while I was playing with the gyro. And obviously when you're moving around, you're shifting your vision's perspective, so the screen isn't exactly, in that perfect view. So your 3D is going to get a little wonky.
Mm.
So what I was doing was whenever I was in a heated battle, I would just flick the slider down, kill off all the zombies, and flick it back up, like when I was running around. So it was kind of on and off. I mean, your mileage may vary, but
One
I
thing,
mean, I actually like that that kind of jagged edge actually doesn't bother me. You know how when you turn on the 3D effect, you get that little bit of jagginess around the graphics?
yeah,
Mhm.
Like,
poor Chris.
Yeah, he's talking about the anti-aliasing. I start to that stuff starts to the jaggies start to disappear for me too when I turn the 3D all the way on, which is one of the reasons I like the 3D. It just seems like it's like an artificial frame rate boost or something.
Okay, Chris stopped his
hmm
other porn download, so we got him back.
yeah, yeah, sorry.
That babysitter stuff takes forever to come down, but yeah, the other thing that's cool about Revelations that a lot of people don't know about is there's an enhanced 3D setting in the options that you won't even know about unless you actually go and monkey with it. It's how would you describe it, Chris? You said it really well when you told me about what you thought of it.
Well, I thought it was really crazy because it immediately tricked my eyes into thinking I was looking at a big screen TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really spooky. I mean, you've got normal, strong, and very strong. And when you pop that sucker on very strong, it's almost like the corridor just kind of goes,
Yeah,
like it expands.
yeah,
It's tripping. It's really hard to explain, but I was just like, whoa. I mean, that was amazing.
yeah.
This game is just so full of these little features. It's such a AAA package. I can't believe it. I mean, it feels like a console game in your hand. It truly does.
Yeah, and the game is loaded with all sorts of great things. The game has elements. My favorite elements of gaming are in this game, and I think that's why I like it so much. You've got things like greed, right? Using you get this Genesis scanner. That's one of the things you get fairly early on, and you use that to sample viruses using sampling blood or creatures using this Genesis scanner. And the interesting part about it that you don't find out unless you happen to get it in a little note when you die or when it loads a level. It says the closer you are to a sample, the more it's worth, or the more of the virus that you'll get. So if you get really, really close to a blood sample and you scan it with the Genesis scanner, you'll get a bigger percentage of I don't know what you call that. It goes up to 100%, and every time you get the scanner up to 100%, you'll get a spray, a healing spray. So you should be scanning everything. You should scan every blood, every monster, but they don't tell you until later that the closer you are, either to the monster or the blood, the more you'll get from that scan. And once I learned that, I became a frickin' daredevil. I mean, I would let these guys run all over me just so I could get them as close as I could to scan them before they kicked my ass. So I love that. I love greed elements in games, and that's a perfect example. The hidden handprints. There's hidden handprints all over the place.
Right, because it's not just a matter of just scanning the creatures. I mean,
Yeah.
you can just walk into what is seemingly an empty room, turn the scanner on, and you're going to pick up hidden items everywhere, like extra bullets or, as Shane said, the handprint or even healing herbs, whatever. So, I mean, when you scan the monsters, it gets to the point where once you're maxed out with those health things, I tend to stop scanning.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I know there's a handprint somewhere, but it's kind of a strange mechanic in a way because it seems like they could have done a little more with it. I think
Yeah, they could have
it
given you
almost
more
seems
with
like it's kind of artificially lengthening the game to a point because I spend a lot more time scanning, when I could have just run to the next room,
Yeah, the good point about the scanning is you will double back on most areas at least once. So if you happen to, the first time you run through an area, just do quick scans. Don't actually spend a lot of time because the next time you go through, and there's probably no monsters the next time, you'll have more opportunity to just kind of sit there and look. Plus, as a bonus, if you miss a couple of ammo boxes, you might need it later. That's what happened to me a lot. Is I would miss a couple of ammo boxes, and I'd be running down the same corridor, tripling back or doubling back, and it's like, oh, thank God, there's a box of handgun ammo because I'm screwed otherwise.
Well, now the answer comes out why you were always close to being ammo-less.
I was always freaking ammo-less. I'm telling you, man. There was so many times in that game that I was totally stretched out on ammo, and I was literally using the knife just to hope to God that I could kill him. The knife.
I did some of that in the first chapter. I found myself without any ammo, so I don't know that the knife fighting doesn't seem it doesn't seem that realistic. It's probably a little bit overpowered.
How dare you?
It's really hard to do. It's really hard to knife. The one thing I will say about the Circle Pad Pro is the melee attack is uncomfortable to do with my big hands because you have to use what the hell button is that? The actual
L1.
like up here, like on the top you have, I don't even know if you can see this or not, but on the top there's two buttons here. There's two triggers. So you have the two triggers, and then you have up here, right here is this R button. It's an extra third button on top.
Kind of a GameCube look to it.
Exactly
GameCube
right.
sure does.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And to melee, you've got to use that weird button. So your here's nice and comfortable, but when you got to move that finger up to this top one, you're kind of like, it's not comfortable. It's not funny, and it's not fun.
Hey, I just turned on this very strong 3D.
Is that crazy?
Now I feel like they were holding out on me or something, man. What is this? It's
Do you see what I mean?
Slider,
it almost feels like the whole max it all the way up, and then it almost feels like you went from like maybe a 4-inch screen to about 12 or something. It's really strange if you play it in the dark, especially because then you can't even see the black outlines of the DS.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I bet had this been a launch title, people's eyes would have been wigging out on this thing because you need your eyes to be trained by Pilot Wings or some other more relaxed type title before you say this is
Don't give them
nuts.
any ideas. We don't need 3D eye training.
Yeah, that'll be next.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing, I checked the menus, and you're right, I don't have swimming controls.
See, there you go.
See, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Dr. Kawashima's eye training. Let's check your eyes today. Move them left to right. Very good.
Hey, don't laugh about that.
Brew.
What was I just reading that they were adding some eye tracking technology to some piece of hardware. I can't remember what it was, but it's like, oh great! So now they're going to track my pupils while I'm staring at the screen.
Yeah.
That would make
could have been worse. They could have been tracking your heart rate at one point.
Yeah, the vitality sensor.
The little vitality sensor.
Before that was still coming, so that might be a Wii U thing.
Oh, great. Oh, they're just starting to get some freaking credibility with this Assassin's Creed and all this stuff, and then they're going to pull out that vitality sensor and was just going to go, oh, come on.
And
We see
the
you
vitality
have
sensor will
plaque in
probably
your
be part of
arteries.
Assassin's Creed 3. So
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, don't leave it to Nintendo to come up with something sucky to offset the eliteness that could be the Wii U.
well,
Oh,
it's possible they may release it for the Wii, and people who aren't into the whole Wii Fit and all that may move on to Wii U, and they can start releasing more plastic peripherals for the old good old Wii.
all right. So for the fans who are that were tuning in to see what 3DS games that we really liked and we recommended, I'm gonna pull my little stock of this crap out, and we can go over them
Awesome.
and see what you guys think. Let's get some feedback. I think Alex probably has more than I do.
I counted today.
Did you really?
I was taking my
Chris is
pictures
just
for
shaking his head.
No, not at all.
You guys are crazy.
73 games.
It's lag. God. It's lag. It's not me.
Oh
it's
my
lag.
god! You really have 73 games? How much do these little cases hold?
I only have
18.
one of them. They hold 18, but I have these other cases that, and these
Oh,
things.
for Alex, it's like choosing 18 of his children.
So
I actually have 30. No, actually, wait, 30, 31, 32. 30, I have somewhere between 35 and 40 so far.
Yeah, but a couple of them include games such as Centipede Infection.
Yeah, let's not talk about centipede infection.
Well,
or Infestation, sorry.
Infestation, sorry.
I've got a lot of games that I got because it seems the new paradigm for 3DS, and I think they're starting to do it with Vita, is every other week they have a buy one get one 50% off sale.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
that was going on this weekend at Toys R Us. I couldn't find anything to buy.
Yeah. So you go in to pick up something good like I don't know, Cave Story 3D or you name it, and then suddenly Michael Jackson's 3D dance game is staring you in the eye. You say, for a $10, should I jump on it? And you end up with some of these games in your collection. But
oh my!
All right, so let's see here. So we'll just rattle these things off. We'll just rattle these things off, and we'll give a yay or a nay. And Chris, if you don't have any input, so let's. The first thing that was in here was Resident Evil: The Mercenaries. What did you think?
Well, it's going to be a little hard to comment on that now that we've played Revelations.
You're right. Let's just skip that one. I mean, it was great at the time.
Completely different games. I mean, focused on the. One thing you guys didn't talk about for Revelations was the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mercenaries is mainly a multiplayer game, right?
Yeah, and it's
Right.
it's a
But the
different
production values just aren't even.
Oh yeah, that's the other problem too.
I mean, I think that almost aren't the enemies practically sprites too. I mean, it's just. I'm serious.
Well, I think it was a mobile game.
They're
right?
like 2D.
Yeah,
it was
it's
a
a
mobile
game.
game conversion, so can't expect much.
All right, so let's see. So Super Monkey Ball. I know Chris wasn't a huge. Did you actually get to play this one, Chris, or did you just say, "Forget it, I'm tired of Monkey Ball"? And
Well, if I saw that one for $10, I might pick it up. But
I know you.
I was never a big Monkey Ball. I was never a big Monkey Ball person. I had it on the DS, and I think I spent more time playing the mini games. Like what was that one? Monkey Shoot, where you're chasing each other through halls and stuff,
fun,
trying to shoot each other. And Monkey Bowling, of course. That's a perennial favorite.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you can grab a Monkey Ball off of Amazon these days for like $12 or $14. So if the right sale hits, $10 isn't out of the question. I liked it, but I'm a huge Monkey Ball fan. I think I've owned Monkey Ball for pretty much every system that I have, including the mobile systems and whatnot. But I'm less into the mini games and more into the single player experience where you're going through the tracks and all of that. And I thought it was really good. I'm a circle pad guy. I don't do the gyro thing. I think that's it's it works, but it's not very forgiving. But but I love with the circle pad. It's like playing Monkey Ball on the GameCube. So yeah, at $10, $15, even $20, I'd say grab it.
And next up, I've got Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I know Chris hates the Lego games, but I got to tell you though, the Pirates feels a little bit more, I don't know, a little slightly more fleshed out than the regular like Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Right. Do you feel that way too, Alex? That it seemed to be a little deeper?
Well, first I should say I'm the exact opposite of Chris. I love the Lego games. I play them on 360 and on Wii, and
I don't
um,
hate them. I just they seem kind of pointless to me. Like there's no, I don't feel a reason to play them. Like I don't feel like I ever get anything out of them. You know what I
well,
mean? Like
the for me
there's no.
it's a good co-op experience, and also just unlocking characters. I mean, for me, it's just completely just all about going to the little shop and unlocking the next guy.
The game is all about unlockables, to be sure, if you're
Yeah.
totally into that. But I'll tell you what, to me, the production values on Lego Pirates is insane. For those of you who didn't see the
Yeah,
video,
yeah.
I compared it against the Wii version, and I'll be honest, I like the 3DS version better.
Absolutely crazy lighting effects
Yeah.
and
Wow.
fogging,
I remember
fog
that
and
video.
environmental stuff. The first Lego game to be released, I think it was a launch title
Star
for
Wars
3DS
3,
was
right?
Star Wars 3. I mean, the mechanics are very similar to. I mean, I'm sure that the engine is very similar, but they really dipped into the eye candy on Pirates of the Caribbean. And I actually have the Harry Potter one, which is the Harry Potter years 5 through 7 or whatever. And it's the same thing. It carries over.
Of
It
course he
carries
has. He
over.
has everything.
Yeah, he's going to supplement the list after I'm done with mine.
Yeah, but it does carry over from some of the cool effects from Pirates of the Caribbean. So Pirates of the Caribbean and Harry Potter stand a little bit higher on the ladder than Star Wars 3. But if you like the Lego games, they're a great alternative to the console versions.
I think what I liked about Pirates the most is there was a little bit more puzzle solving in it than normal. Like Star Wars, it's just like kill, 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 advance, kill, 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 advance, build this, advance, build that, advance, find the cool hidden snow monster lair in the for Empire Strikes Back, kill, kill. But for Pirates, it was like, okay, you need to figure out how the hell are you going to get this from here to here. You got to send the dog in, you got to get the bone, you got to, there's a whole bunch of different more like problem solving, which to me kind of elevated above the rut and rinse. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. He's got like 90 titles we have to cover. Street Fighter.
I think I've got 23. If that.
That's actually. I wouldn't even think you had that many. What about Street Fighter? Let's talk about
No.
that. I thought Street Fighter was great for a launch title.
That was a really good launch title, and that's the game where one of the first games where the 3D effect just said, "Wow, this is really cool, man." I mean, you had the background layers, and you had your characters in front, and
Well, you're talking about
that's
Capcom again. They really for a launch title they had fully functional online gaming. They had great Street Pass functionality with the trophies and the fights and all that. I mean, a complete again console game in a handheld. I'm not a big fighting game guy. I really suck at those games, but yeah, you put it in, you want to play it. It's just really really good.
Okay, now Chris is just going to start laughing, but the Combat Dinosaur 3D. Alex, your thoughts?
Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Surprisingly, not a big fan.
I'll tell you what, I think it's got some of the best 3D in it, though. When you're running through the forests and the jungles and all that good stuff, the 3D is very impressive. If Chris doesn't like Primal Rage either. I'm a Primal Rage slut, and for me, this is as close to Primal Rage as I get on the 3DS. So, but pop it in and watch as you're moving through the jungle. It's an insane 3D effect. I thought that was cool. Of course, Mario Kart 7. Is there anything to really say about that? I mean, is there anything other than the obvious?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost cheating, when comparing some of the first-party Nintendo stuff, especially when you're talking about a franchise like Mario Kart 7. I will say this for people who love kart racing. I mean, because kart racing is very different from just other racing games that there are a ton of also. But for people who like kart games, there is another kart game out there, and you got to really love kart games to get past Mario Kart 7 and still want to play a kart game. But there's a game called Face Racers that you look at on the shelf and you kind of laugh and you walk away because the covers look stupid. It's from Majesco, and it just oozes all the marketing.
You've said enough.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a damn good game. It's from Renegade Kid. The developer Renegade Kid game, and they're all over the 3DS. They did the Mutant Mudds eShop game. But you know that Star Fox functionality for multiplayer that Nintendo kind of shortchanged this on and made it only for local wireless, where
Right.
4 people play and you get to see a picture of them, of a photo from the system camera,
Much like
while
this
they're
chat.
yeah, exactly. So they integrated that into Face Raiders and gave us online. So yeah, you can't compare it to Mario Kart 7, but that's a pretty cool feature. If you're into online, you can convince 2 other friends or 3 other friends to actually buy this game. It's a solid kart racer, and it's like $20 at GameStop.
Nice.
You know what I wish they would do? I wish they would come out with a new iteration of Konami's Crazy Racers.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that for the GBA? Well, that'd be cool if they get that on 3DS. Because I'll tell you, that was one of my favorite. I actually like that more than the GBA Mario Kart. That was such a cool game. I mean,
Absolutely.
you played it. First of all, it came out first, so I was spoiled by it. But I loved all those characters. You could be all those classic Konami characters. You even had the freaking.
We lost Chris.
We'll never know what the freaking
we'll
kart
never...
racing guy was.
This is so weird. It's like someone in his building like flips a switch and we lose him. And then all of a sudden he'll just come back. Next thing you know, he'll be sitting there with his hand on his chin and he'll be all back good.
Yeah. But Konami racing on kart racing on GBA was great. But yeah, I recommend this Face Racers for anyone who's looking for more kart racing. And he's completely gone. He'll be back.
We lost him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do a couple of things that he wouldn't have any input on anyway. So the centipede infestation, just turn a blind eye to that one. That's not worth your time, not worth your money.
Well, making matters worse, they take a storied IP, a storied franchise, and just
so
kind of
bad.
crap all over it.
They do. It's so bad. Don't even waste your time.
I knew for sure you wouldn't like it because there's no way in hell that you're going to take a Robotron clone that's not perfect. Because that's what it basically is, right?
It is a Robotron game. And it's sad you can't play with the Circle Pad Pro because that might have actually given it a couple of points. I'm okay with playing with the 4 buttons as a controller. I'm used to doing it because I play my GBX all the time. My GP2X playing Robotron that way. So I'm used to playing that, so that doesn't really bother me. But it's just the game itself gives you there's nothing to it. There's no greed. You're running around, you're shooting. There's nothing. There's protect modes where you got to protect somebody, and that sucks.
The centipede.
Yeah, I played like 7. I played like 7 levels
of
of that damn thing, and it's like, is this going to ever get better? And it doesn't. And they have the horrible story in between.
That's a clear case of someone at the publisher, I guess it's Atari,
of course,
said, "Here, they got a group of programmers that didn't have anything else to do. They were probably by the copy machine, playing grab ass, and they said, "You guys make a centipede game for the new 3DS."
Well, they didn't even have to do that. They just went over to the Wii version and pulled it off of there because it's the exact same game, and it wasn't any fun on the Wii either. So
yeah,
I figured maybe it'd be different.
Does it look better on the 3DS?
I'll give them the fact that the 3D works very well for the game. It gives you, because you're playing like on a slanted play field, and the 3D works, but unfortunately the whole rest of the game doesn't. And as I've said before, tricks like high resolution graphics or 3D can't save a game that sucks. So same idea. And then my wife picked up the Hidden for my wife. I wasn't sure if she was going to like it or not. I haven't even gotten a chance to play it yet, so it's sitting here in my pile of backlog stuff.
Is that augmented reality thing?
Yeah, where you're trying to like ghost hunt or something.
Walk around outside with ghosts.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. It sounds like something I'd like for sure, but I just haven't gotten around to looking at it. Have you looked at that, Alex?
Yeah, it's in my pile of shame too.
Yeah,
so
right.
I need to get to that.
Pile of shame. I haven't tried Green Lantern yet, but I'm assuming it's exactly like the DS version. I more or less got it for my kid to give him something new to play on the 3DS. The DS version wasn't horrible.
Save yourself some heartache, man. It's really, really bad.
Well, that's why it was $12.
Because Shane's kid doesn't have enough to play, right?
Yeah, well, he's an IP whore. Anything that has a superhero on it, he'll play. So,
but it's one of the few games. It's one of those ones where I think I got it at Target, and there was a buy one get one 50% off, and I said, well, there was nothing else I didn't have.
Yep.
And it's one of the few
right next
games.
to Michael Jackson Experience.
Hey, I want that Michael Jackson Experience. I almost picked that up today because it was on sale.
Yeah, the verdict is still out on Michael Jackson Experience. It's in the pile of shame, but Green Lantern is one of the ones that like I wish I'd never bought. And you'd think with a collection the size of what I have, I'd have more of those. But yeah, Green Lantern, do not buy it. It's pure crap.
And here's Mario and Sonic at the London Games 2012. Now my son loves the thing. I've never even had a chance to boot it myself, so I can't comment.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's high production values and the whole 9 yards. It's a mini game fest. It's a lot of folks were asking. Well, somebody was asking. Well, it's their soccer is an Olympic event, so do I get a full soccer game
Right.
on this? And no, it's they're mini games related to Olympic events and whatnot. But yeah, my only reservation is it's one of those coveted $40 $39.99 games, and if you're not into Mario and Sonic, if you know what to expect based on the old Wii games and DS games, but if you enjoyed any of those, you'll probably enjoy this. I'd grab it on sale. $40 is a little steep.
Yeah.
Well, I've only played the demo myself because I'm going to wait till after the Olympics to grab it for possibly $15 to $20.
Yep.
But I'm a sucker for the mini games, these kind of games. I have to say though, the one thing that's really kind of disturbed me about it is seeing Princess Peach in a swimsuit. That's something I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Nintendo has to become a little more progressive. They're getting ready to sell the Wii U to the hardcore crowd, so you're gonna have to start seeing a lot more daisies and Princess Peach without some clothes on. That's all I'm saying. You want to sell that to the hardcore gamers?
My princess.
I'm expecting to see something like Conan come where there's topless Princess Peach and Toad running around.
Konanio.
Mario, God of War.
Yeah.
Konanio, God of War. God of Goomba.
God of Goomba. I'd play that. All right.
Goomba of War.
So just to continue rounding things out, maybe it's better if we just take. Well, I want to talk about the ones that suck too. I think that's important.
Oh, I've got some of those.
Have we got to? Oh, gee, have we hit? I thought we hit a few of them.
Yeah,
already.
we have, but there's more. Sonic Generations, I got to look at a little bit. I got it from my son because he's like horror for Sonic, and it looks very solid. The 3D looks great. Everything looks fine. It's just I can't get excited about Sonic anymore, and I don't know why.
I thought the difficulty on it was a little harsh.
That
I'm
explains why he
surprised.
didn't play it
How's your kid taking to it?
He only played it for a short period of time before he went for greener pastures, so that's probably why. I couldn't figure out why he was so eager to. Where's my Mario Kart 7, Dad? Now I know because it was complicated. Here's one that I know, Chris. I don't know if you ended up picking it up, but the SpongeBob game.
No, not yet.
It's a WarioWare. It's a pure WarioWare hack. I mean, there's no shame in it at all either. It's like, some games try to hide the fact that they've completely stolen fizzy lifting drinks from another game. This one has no shame at all. But that works. That's okay for me because there is no WarioWare yet. So I'm happy to have this to tide me over.
Yeah,
I'm
I
actually
agree.
shocked they haven't come out with a WarioWare game yet for the 3DS.
Gotta be.
Usually it should have been there by now. I would have thought.
Well, the problem with WarioWare games and 3D systems are that they usually make you like stand on one foot and hop around.
Yeah, that's hard to do in the
stuff,
3D stuff. So that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, this thing's got so much going on. I mean, you got the gyro controls, the touch screen, you got the microphone,
the camera,
3D cameras on both sides. I mean, you got a lot going on in this DS now. I mean, they gotta stop sticking to one certain function of the system and just go for broke and do WarioWare Party or something,
Damn, I'd buy that.
I'll tell you one thing. I know right now Chris is going to hate the guy in the pirate suit in the cutscene.
I hate the guy in the
There's
pirate
like
suit.
a cutscene
I've seen the
thing.
video. I've seen the video.
Okay,
Are they unskippable at least? Are they skippable or what?
I think they're unskippable. I'm pretty sure they're unskippable.
No, they're
so
skippable. I think, but you have to play it the first. You have to watch it the first
okay.
time, but you can skip it after that.
Yeah,
But
they gotta make sure their
it's like
production
they got like
value was.
any guy off the street and said, "Okay, do a pirate accent."
I'm
And
telling
gave
you.
him
But see, but don't forget too, they did that in the DS WarioWare too. The intros were unskippable. That made me mental that I couldn't skip those because I really didn't care about Wario and his stupid frickin' boombox and all that crap. Just move me to the damn game. I could care less.
Yeah, but the
about
difference
any of
here
that.
is it's pure Nintendo goofiness,
Yeah,
in
well, I
that
could've
respect.
skipped the
I enjoyed watching
I
them.
hate that stuff.
Yeah, this is hard to compare the two. You know, a guy with a Party City pirate costume and this nice kind of cartoony
I could skip them
Nintendo
both.
stuff.
I could skip them both. Interestingly enough, I didn't play nearly. I picked up that Madden football for $5, right? That was a no-brainer. For $5, how could I not get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Now I played it. I played it just a little bit, but I'm telling you, my friend Justin Mays loves it. He thinks it's like a great game of football. So, I mean, he tends to not like more things than he likes. So I'm tempted to believe that and he plays a lot of that stuff on the console too. So if he says it's a pretty decent game of football, I tend to believe him.
Yeah, I played a couple times. I'm just not a big football game fan.
Me neither. But for $5, how was I supposed to not do that?
Yeah, it's the thing is, it's one of those games like they just put the 3D in, and it's just a regular gamepad game of football.
Yeah.
So
no tricks,
nothing to write home about.
Waggling, or
Nothing
anything.
really making it special or giving it some kind of an identity.
No,
of its
which is
own,
probably why
right?
they're skipping it for this year. So go figure.
Hey, you ask yourself, like,
Hey, it's less shovelware.
if you're a Madden fan, and like, do you say, hey, I can't wait to play Madden in 3D? It's like there's just nothing really compelling there. The whole thing is just Madden in 3D because it's a 3D system. So.
Yeah.
Well, at least when it came out on the Wii, you had that stigma or something to look forward to where you were taking the Wii remote and going, go long, and you were throwing your Wii remote at the TV.
Tripping over the coffee table.
Oh,
That's why there were so many first-year TVs broken with the Wii.
That's right. That's why the straps got 3 iterations, and I think that plus they gave you the condom wrapper for
The
it.
condom.
God, I
That's
hate
the only
that
reason Sony survived the PlayStation 3 era is because of all the replaced Sony TVs that Wiimotes got thrown into the screen.
thing. That's true. That's how they compensated. Hey, the next thing I have here, I bought specifically on Alex's request, which was Real Fishing 3D, and I tried.
I'm glad you brought that
I
up.
tried to love it, dude, but I couldn't do it. I mean, I guess I'm just not a fishing person. But I tried.
Yeah,
I tried.
I love it. If you're into fishing games and it's a Japanese fishing game, which is very different. Oh man, what is this?
What are you doing, Chris?
I'm sorry, my camera started to fall.
We're very high
It's,
tech
it's
here.
funny. It's you know what, you want to know where this camera is actually located? The camera is teetering on top of the New Kids on the Block doll that I got my wife at Monroe
Oh, that's right. I remember
in
you did buy that.
2010.
Nice.
Yeah, I have it perched on top of it. It's been sitting in here in the den. So it's pretty funny,
You have a
actually.
New Kids on the Block
it-
doll
we've come-
tripod.
Yeah, we've come full circle. Yeah.
That's right. So anyway, you were telling us
But,
about the real fishing.
Yeah, I love it. I think the environments are nice, and it's not a fishing simulator. It's mission based, like a lot of the Japanese ones like Fishing Resort and World Fishing Tour on Wii, where they tell you go catch 3 of these kind of fish within these parameters,
Like Jumbo Safari.
And then they give you a cool aquarium room with 2 big aquariums, a fresh and a saltwater one, where the coolest fish you catch, you can keep them in there and that kind of thing. I thought it was great, and it's a game that is cheap. You can find it for $10 on Amazon, and I think it's a $20 game at GameStop. So if you find a used one, it's like 15 or whatever.
Yeah, I think I scored it for like $8 at the end. So I think it was $9.99 used, and then I got my discount for it. So
Gotcha.
So I guess this game's more recommended for people who want that extra step above Animal Crossing.
Yeah, kind of.
Now I can
But you know what?
imagine. I can
That's
imagine
actually
this.
not a bad analogy, because what drives you to play this game is the same thing as Animal
The
Crossing.
aquariums.
Yeah, the aquariums, and you're actually going after specific fish, and it's not a realistic
Well,
simulator, but
I mean, I haven't played it, but I can imagine the 3D is probably pretty neat too. Because when you cast your line, it actually probably looks like you're getting some kind of distance when you reel it in and
yeah, and
cast.
the
and everything.
underwater stuff is really cool too. As you're reeling in and whatnot.
Nice.
I like it. It's one of those
Bass
things.
on.
And it's a Natsumi title, so it's the Harvest Moon people. So that's
what in the hell is that rabbit doing over there? Do you hear this? He's losing his
I
mind
see him.
back
It's pretty
there.
cool.
Damn. All right, next up is Pilot Wings, and I know Chris was less impressed with it, but I think I didn't play it as much on the Wii, I think, as Chris did. So for me, it was fairly
the
a new
Wii's a big
title.
favorite.
was a fairly new title to me, and I probably put 15 hours into it total before I finally
Oh
kind of
my.
was able to give it the boot and break it off. But I loved it. I love the exploration. I love finding all the
Yeah.
hidden crap. To me, it's a great title. I don't think there's any question it's a good title. But
No, I love that stuff on there. I mean, I just wish there was a little more to it, more modes. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, it seems like it was more, okay, here, do this. Okay, perform this, do this, and then, yeah, you did it. Okay. I mean, I think I would have rather had my favorite part in the is the flyover, the island flyover, when you're flying around looking for all the locations and all those secrets. And
yeah.
I mean, my son and I love playing that, and it seemed like in this it just didn't suck me in as much. They did something to it that just I can't explain it. The 3D is cool, and it's definitely worth grabbing. It's a good game. It's just not quite what I thought it was. And I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to be when I was going into it. But I managed to get it cheap anyway, even when at launch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at
Yeah,
launch,
yeah.
Toys R Us had that buy one get one half off sale.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. You know what this game was missing? It was, and as so many Nintendo games are, online multiplayer. This would have been Endless Ocean. That would have been the
Right.
same thing as Endless Ocean. Can you imagine? You throw in the little voice chat, and you just kind of fly around exploring and talk, and it would have been perfect. And if they do a sequel, which I don't think they will, considering the reception of the even as a launch title, it didn't do very well. They should take the Endless Ocean approach.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be for me. It was a very zen game. There's some games that sometimes you just want to sit and play something that doesn't require you to do anything really. You don't have to kill this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to rescue this. Sometimes you just want to fly around and just veg.
definitely, I agree.
That's
That's what I
perfect.
like. But the only problem is, you were given a time limit, and
Yeah,
that
that
ruins that Zen
sucked.
approach.
You're right.
When you only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I mean, you barely have time to get into that
Yep.
Zen-like
No,
state.
you're right.
You know,
Totally.
so
Yeah, they should have had an all-out exploration mode where you could just kind of
right,
do whatever you want. Yeah, I love that Wahoo Island. Is it that they?
right.
It's
Now
you,
it's funny because you said that because I actually thought that mode was going to be in this game only because they basically took but one of the features from the Wii version and put it into this cartridge. So I was thinking we were going to get what was on the Wii but expanded even more
Yeah.
and maybe even have an option like that just to
Yeah.
kind of prolong the gameplay, and instead it was basically it's 2 minute segments of a game and you gotta keep going and going and get medals and I like Shane was saying, I would love to have had and just that Zen-like state where you just fly around and look for, just add some more secrets. That's all I would have needed. I mean, I loved flying down into the volcano and then
yeah,
finding that little thing floating in there and everything.
yeah.
That was cool. Little moments like that were cool. That you could fly into the volcano. I mean, give me more of that and take away my time limit.
Yeah,
And
no
just let
time
me do
limits.
my thing.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you, there's a game waiting to be made with that Wahoo Island thing because you got to see it in Wii Sports Resort, even in Wii Fit 2, I think it was. You could run around and do stuff in it, and you got to see different aspects of the island. And then it opened up even more in Pilot Wings because you could fly around and explore different areas. I don't know if it would make a good RPG or make some kind of good some kind of game. God, even can you imagine an Animal Crossing that takes place in that island?
That would be way
that type of
cool.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping they finally kind of make use of the island because it seems like such a cool place and there's so much detail to it that you can just imagine these guys sat around a table and talked about the volcano and talked about the square there and the cathedral and all the different things that are there. It's not just randomly thrown about.
You could make a Lost game out of that island. You could put a hatch in there and some white things running around. Have some hot chicks running on the beach.
Yeah, man, a survival game with your Mii's.
That would-
Put some Mario pipes.
Yeah.
Put some Mario pipes in there. Nobody knows where they go.
That'd be
The
awesome.
green
I'd play
pipes
that. I'd play
with a
that.
hatch on top of them. I'm still waiting for my ultimate fantasy, which is where they take the Animal Crossing engine, whether it be GameCube or the Wii version, and convert it into a Zelda game.
Yeah.
back in the GameCube era, I mean, I saw Animal Crossing, and all I could think of is, oh my God, the bliss that would be a game made with this engine, but set in the world of Hyrule. I think that would have been awesome.
It wouldn't have taken much either. Like you use your Wind Waker style, and yeah.
I don't even want all that. Just no Wind Waker style necessarily, but it would have been a great retrospective to go back to the original Zelda, or even A Link to the Past, and just take that engine and make a sequel out of it. So, like you were saying, maybe eventually we'll see a Wahoo Island reimagined into a whole nother game. I mean, technically, if you think about it, they could have done the entire Wii Sports as a 3DS title. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they could have figured out ways to make it, that they could have implemented things. I mean, like the sword fighting and all. Just maybe change things around a little bit. But they could have probably have done their own version of Wii Sports, but on the 3DS, using the 3DS's strengths.
I would
whether it
not
be
be
the
surprised
gyro.
if that's not still coming.
I mean, imagine doing the archery with the gyro.
Oh,
you know what
geez,
I mean?
stop teasing me like that. I'm getting aroused.
Well, at one point, Miyamoto said they had somebody was pulling his chain about not having created any new IPs since Pikmin or something, and he said, "Well, Wahoo Island is his new character."
Get out of here.
So,
funny.
well, it's Miyamoto. But
Well, what about Wii Music? He made Wii Music,
Yeah, that's a new IP.
Yeah.
Let's see, Super Mario 3D Land. Of course, that was just. I mean, what do you say? It's
yeah,
quality
Yeah,
title.
I mean,
What do you want?
You can't beat that. That was amazing.
Cubic Ninja, run, hide, and don't buy it. Anything you want to add to
agreed.
that, Alex?
No.
No, we're good there.
I'll
I
buy
picked it
that
up.
for a low
I grabbed
price.
it on a Target clearance. It was.
That's what I did.
think
I
it
got it
was
for like
like-
$7 or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It was like that was the one that I took pictures of and posted on Google Plus. But yeah, it's kind of useless.
Yeah. Bit Trip Saga, on the other hand,
Ah,
fantastic. I mean, I'm a huge slut for Bit Trip, and this is the full
Yeah, it's
deal.
hard
How
to
many
screw
games
those
do you
games
get in
up.
that?
Six,
Is that like a trilogy?
I think 6 games.
Yeah.
Oh,
six.
6. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you get the runner, you get a breakout type deal or a bat and ball type deal. God, there's tons of games in there, and it's really runner itself is worth the price of admission. So the fact you get all
That
of
is one of those titles, though, that you very rarely see hit below full price. I mean,
Yep.
it
that's
seems
true.
like it's always $40, and
it is.
Yeah.
to me, I mean, from what I can tell, it seems like it's more of a $20 game.
And it's also not available in all at the usual stores. Like it's, I think it's available at GameStop, and they don't do the buy one get one free.
Ever.
But Toys R Us doesn't carry it, and Target doesn't carry it. So I had to wait and monitor Amazon for a long time before I saw it drop to like 20 something. I think it was on Black Friday, in fact. When I got it, if memory serves.
But yeah, I mean, it's dead on to the Wii. It's the exact same game, and the 3D is insane. I mean, when you played it on the Wii, I mean, it actually you almost thought about what it'd be like in 3D.
Yeah,
And it's just this delivers it, so that's perfect. Zelda we already kind of talked about a little bit. I played that, and I'm not a Zelda fan. I must have got 16 hours out of that before I finally pulled the plug.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you guys wouldn't, or I think Shane, you were never a big fan of that.
Never liked any of the Zeldas.
Ocarina of Time,
No.
and I think you weren't either, right?
I'm a
Chris?
I'm a Zelda fan, but I think
Yeah.
Ocarina is one of the worst. I'm sorry. And I mean, like Sage said, a lot of the puzzles are just senseless in it too. It really makes you mental. I mean,
So the enhanced graphics in the 3D isn't going to change that,
Right.
If you love that game, you're
I
going to
tried
still
to give it
love
another
it. You're
shot.
going to appreciate the visual upgrades. But if you don't like the game to begin with, it's a tough sell.
I found it a completely boring game, and I thought the controls were terrible at the time. I mean, on the GameCube, I didn't like how running to the edge automatically jumped you, and I mean, more times than not, when I jumped, I fell somewhere else, and I mean, I got pretty far in it, so it can't be that I'm that bad at it, but I just found the game completely boring. The overworld, to me, the game was the start of the end of the overworld, and to this day, we are just not. The overworld just ceases to exist like it used to. I mean, look at the overworld in Link to the Past. Look at was Shayton getting ready to light up there? What do you
Yeah,
got
that's what I
there?
was gonna say.
Yeah,
He's smoking
it's
there.
a Nintendo stylus,
Ah, yes.
white styli.
What to say,
The
man? It's
third,
pulling out
the,
of
the,
Marlboro.
Give me a lice, eh? Let's see. So what did I have up next? I had the Wild West 3D, which you say, Alex, that definitely deserves more playtime, and I will give it that. I walked around and
That's a
played
$20
I
one.
played like two
You can
games.
grab it. You can grab it at Target for $20.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Carnival Games fan, so I better take another look at that. Um, Bust a Move. It's a $14 game, right? I mean
or free.
or free.
It can be a free game.
That's perfect. Yeah. I mean, it's Bust a Move. What else do you want? I mean, the 3D is well done. You know, it's Bust a Move. I don't know.
It's not a bad game. I think just at the beginning it was a little hard of a sell to swallow for 30 or
Yeah.
40 at Toys R Us. It was 40 at Toys
it
R
was
Us.
so
Do you remember
stupid,
that? That was
crazy,
ridiculous.
Dumbasses.
But see, when I had first gotten my 3DS on Amazon, they had two deals. They had the free case. You got a free carrying case, but then the other deal was you got a free game. I think the deal was a free game under $20. Well, at the time, the only games that were $20, I think, were the Ubisoft titles.
Right.
Which I said I'm gonna hold out, maybe,
I'll wait.
because the credit expired in July, and this was beginning of April or so. I think I finally got the 3DS. It was a couple weeks after launch, and by July, Bust a Move had come down on sale to like $19.98 or something like that. So boom, right in the card it went, and there was my credit.
Poof.
So free Bust a Move. Yeah, it was great.
That's good.
Yeah, that's another one at Target, and it's not a regular clearance deal where you have to hope your stores has it on the shelf, but where the regular games are, at the two Targets near where I live, they've got a stack of them in where the normal games are, and it's $5.98.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I guess that's one of the ones where you'll have to check your local store. But if you don't have that game for $6, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good game.
How many did you pick up?
No, I paid 30, man. I got screwed.
I think I ended up paying. I think I got
I
half
had
price.
5 copies. Oh, 6. Sorry. What am I saying?
So
30.
let's see. Next up was Pac-Man Galaga Dimensions, which I think I'm the only person on the planet that actually liked.
No, I'm with you.
I
liked it.
I thought the platformer piece of it was actually outstanding. I thought that the variance and the variety of the platforming was really well done, but it didn't get widely appreciated. So I mean, we'll probably never see anything like it again. But I thought the platforming was kind of almost Super Froggish. There was a lot of, there's a lot of interesting things. There's springs and cannons and crap like that. I love that sort of thing in platforming. Sometimes running and jumping is not enough. I want environmental stuff, and I thought that it delivered that. And I think
That's one of those titles that I may eventually grab when it comes down in price.
It needs
but
to come down in price a little bit.
I think my issue is Pac-Man Championship Edition. I'm perfectly happy having it on the 360. I don't necessarily need it again in a portable format. I did not like Galaga. What is it called? Legions.
Galaga Legions.
I thought that was a terrible
It's
game.
terrible. It's not any
and it was
better on
probably
here.
because I think they took a lot of one of the worst games I hated in the series was Gapless. It is my arch fiend enemy, and they took a lot from Gapless and incorporated it in this, where you could suck all your enemies down into this big monstrosity of a ship to use, and I did not like the game. Now I am keen to try out that first-person one where you're flying around. It's almost like the Namco Museum Galaga on the Wii.
It's actually not
you know
bad.
What I mean?
It's not bad.
It's like a rail shooter, right?
Yeah, you fight
where
the
you get
controls a little bit, but
But
Yeah,
does it have
Namco-
gyro controls? I mean,
I think it does, but it didn't work as well as I had hoped, I think, the gyros. It's on my back burner. This is one of my back burner titles that I'm going to go back and I want to finish the platformer. I've got like a third of it done. I want to finish that, and I want to get more into the 3D one. So
it's
Yeah,
kind of
you know
like a little bit of like a side-scrolling pack and roll then.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
It's impressive. I like it. People don't like the tilt aspect of it, but really it's not a lot of tilting. What you use the tilt to get you a little bit more power, like a little bit more jump. That's it. It's not like you have to use it. I mean, you do have to use it in order to get over certain obstacles, but it's not goofy. It's not a goofy use of the gyros. I don't know. Like I said, I liked it, but I know a lot of people didn't, and that's fine.
I thought even for the arcade ports, they did a lot of they really took their time to include a lot of cool details like the 3D bezel
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
perspective of the bezel
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
cool.
It's it's one of those games. If you find it for a good deal, for a good price, I'd say pick it up. It's just a lot of variety, and they really took their time with it, which I thought was nice. Now, Pac-Man Party 3D, on the other hand, I guess they said, "Oh, this one didn't suck. Let me give you a Pac-Man game that sucks."
I
Uh,
almost picked that up too. I'm glad I
yeah,
didn't.
it's really bad,
Figures.
and it's
Don't
it's
worry,
like
Alex will do it for you.
That's right.
yeah.
See, I depend on Alex to get these crappy games. And
Well, it's a port of the Wii one, which is equally as bad. But the thing is, it's like a Mario Party game
I
for a
didn't grab that one.
for a handheld. It doesn't have the online, so you're stuck
right.
playing like it's like playing Monopoly by yourself.
Yeah, that sucks.
Ah,
So,
see.
so yeah, it's
Well, let me
it's
send myself to jail.
and for the most part, my rule of thumb with Pac-Man has always been Pac-Man games where Pac-Man has arms and legs, bad.
Yeah, did not.
Pac-Man
Oh,
games where
yes.
Pac-Man
Hang on.
a circle and the traditional Pac-Man, then you give them a shot.
Yeah. Okay, let me see here.
So it's like the Star Trek Next Gen without the beard. Riker without a beard, Pac-Man with limbs.
Anytime you see Jonathan Frakes without a beard, run. Here's another one that actually was decent, but it got totally ignored. Is Frogger 3D, and I got this specifically because Alex
yeah.
picked it up, and
Yeah,
Alex
I'm
Yeah,
gave
you
me
guys
a
were
huge
really
fan.
going on and on about how good that was at the time. You were like, all saying like, "Wow, it's actually really good. You should pick it
Yeah,
up."
it's amazingly decent. It was $19, I think, with the what did it come with, Alex? A case or something?
I actually
Yeah, let me see it. I
have
figure you had
Yeah,
it right
because
there.
whatever it came with right here.
they still have it at Toys
Yeah,
R
it's
Us.
a
The
clear
box was
case.
huge on it.
Yeah, it's forget the case. The case isn't worth your time, but
Yeah, it's a really lame case too. It's
bad
like
case.
this is the first time getting a look at it too. It's like
For a
clear,
really lame game.
so it's basically
Oh.
like those clear
Oh,
cases
that's
that
pretty cool.
you buy from eBay for like 2 cents and $4 shipping, and they like spray painted the Froggo logo on it or something. I don't know. It's horrible.
yeah.
But the game is really good.
Yeah, the game is definitely worth picking, especially for $19. And and you can get it. I think you can get it now. They sell it without the case, and it's still $19 even without the case. But you can get it used for it's like $16.99 on GameStop, and then you get your discount. So it ends up being like $14. It's really neat. I mean, you have to put off the fact that there's no original Frogger, and that pissed me off. I wanted the real Frogger in there too, but they did not include that. But overall, I thought it was pretty interesting. Let's see what else is in here.
Wait a minute, didn't they? No, they
No,
didn't.
they
They had
did
that
not.
endless Frogger, endless
Yes,
crap, right?
I mean it's okay, but it's not Frogger.
Yeah.
Pinball Hall of Fame, of course, no brainer. That's a fantastic title. Great pinball, good tables. I like the inverted 3D play where you use the triggers upside down.
I'll tell you, the 3DS is a nice little pinball.
It is.
Pinball friendly machine. Huh?
Hells yeah. Plus, I finally got my what was it?
Yeah.
The Ancients pinball finally got ported from DSi, so now I have that too. But when you have things like Zen Pinball, that doesn't hold up as well. So
Yeah, with Pinball Pulse, the one of the things I noticed when I moved it over was that the sound on the sound hardware on the 3DS is so much better than it is on the
you can
DSi
actually hear things.
because the separation of the voices and everything in Pinball Pulse, it really comes through. But yeah, you got Zen Pinball, you've got Pinball Hall of Fame, the Pinball, what is it called? Pinball Arcade,
Pinball Arcade.
from the same people that did Williams Collection. That's going. I think that's coming either this month or next month. I think.
Yeah, something like that. You're gonna have pinball coming out your nose, which is
Yeah.
perfect. Give me more pinball. I love it. More pinball. Dual Pen Sports, which I picked up for like $4.99 or something at a
I was
closeout.
gonna say you see that one cheap all
That
the
one's
time.
cheap all the time. But here's the funny thing: it went back up in price. I saw it at Target today for $20. I've seen it everywhere.
Really?
Or not Target, Toys R Us for $20. It's back out and about. It's like all of a sudden it got popular. because of probably the
Yeah,
the
I
discount.
think that that's bad inventory management. Because some jackass at Target decided to mark this thing down for clearance, and then some other jackass down the hall, pulls a report and says, "Oh my God, Dual Pen Sports is selling like mad. Order another million
Right,
copies."
and we'll
And
just jack them back up. But yeah, I tell you what, I bought this solely for the archery, and the archery is fantastic. I'm into anything that has archery in it. So, and this is
Is it using the gyroscope?
no. It's they do the whole dual pen thing, and it would have been better with the gyroscope, of course. But everything deals with using two different styluses at the same time, right? So it's still cool though.
Oh, is that where they got the name Dual Pen from?
Yeah,
I
you didn't-
never played the Dual Pen series. So you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little new to it.
It's still pretty good. It's still good. I mean, especially when I paid $5 for it. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was okay.
Sorry. Steel Diver, which of course is kind of hit or miss. I think it's a cool game. I like Steel Diver is what I would call an arcade simulator. I prefer that. I like the arcade simulation, the side scroller piece especially. The Periscope stuff, of course.
688 attack Nintendo.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. That's a great way to put it out. And I love 688 attack sub. So I liked that. I thought it was different. I thought it was something new, and it was kind of tactile. I like jimmying with knobs and tweaking things and trying. I like that idea. It kind of reminded me too. I mean, I know this is a hard sell, but it kind of reminded me of Zeppelin on Commodore 64. You've got this like horrifyingly unforgiving environment that you have to play through. And occasionally you get to shoot stuff. So, and of course the Periscope stuff's like solid gold. It's just too bad there's not more of it.
Yeah, the 3D was really neat with the depth of field, and when you're underwater and you got those layers of background and everything. I mean, that was one of the ones I picked up recently, actually, back in December for $5 from that Best Buy sale.
Yeah.
And it was definitely worth $5.
Sure.
I mean, I'm terrible at the game. I can't get to the dials fast enough. I'm like, oh my God, it's like go up.
It's one of those
you're
things
hitting
that,
the rocks and everything.
yeah, you can't. You have to be proactive with that game. You have to be looking like 5 minutes ahead in that game so that you can actually dial it in before you need to move. So
I look like a total spaz playing that
I
thing.
know. It's just all right. Star Fox 3D. I'm going to tell you something about Star Fox. The fact that I finished it in less than like an hour and a half, everyone's like, "Oh, but no, there's so much more to play in it." I've never played it again. I finished it and I've never touched it again.
I'm going to chalk this up to you didn't play or you didn't like the original.
Here's the funny thing. I loved the knockoffs of them. I didn't even know what Star Fox was. I played a game on the Amiga called Guardian, and it turns out that Guardian is a total knockoff of Star Fox. And of course, I would have probably fought to the death that the Amiga created that and did not copy Star Fox. But after I went back and I started looking at Star Fox, like, oh, well, crap, this is Star Fox on the Amiga. So I didn't dislike the title, but it's like, but literally when I have a problem, I have this completion thing. Like Skylanders. We finished Skylanders, we're at 40%. I'll probably never play it again. Because as far as I'm concerned, when the credits roll, the game's over.
And that's a great analogy for the thing with Star Fox, because it's designed to be played over and over again, taking the different paths,
right,
of course.
That's exactly
and
it.
Seeing the different content. But yeah, if that's if you're shooting for the shortest path from point A to point B, then you're not going to get much out of it.
Well, I wasn't even shooting for that. I was just playing the game. I didn't know. I wasn't trying to shortcut the game or play it as fast as possible or anything. It's just I'm playing along, I'm having a good time, and then it's over.
You really can't play it any faster than normal. I mean, the thing's on rails,
Right,
you know.
exactly.
So
I mean, it's the playthrough.
The thing is, it's interesting you mentioned the Amiga though, because the game is a British game. I mean, it's made by some British developers. Rare at the time, I think, was a spin-off of. Do you remember Argonaut?
Yeah,
I don't know.
remember
They
Argonaut.
were. I think they did some Amiga stuff, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think some of the Rare guys are from Argonaut. I mean, I could be wrong, but
that
my
totally
history's a
makes
little
sense.
scratchy,
But yeah,
but those British, I mean, the Brits were all over the Amiga, I believe, at the
They
time
were.
too.
That
I
was
mean,
huge.
it's just like Psygnosis. I mean, they were Brits.
the best part about Guardian is the Guardian felt a lot like it felt like a 3D Defender to me, which really totally worked. I mean, you wouldn't think about 3D Defender as being a cool game. I would pay to have Guardian on the 3DS. That would be the bomb game on the
Well,
3DS.
they did do a 3D Defender for the PlayStation 1, if you remember.
I barely remember it. I think I just discounted it.
And it's okay, because it was pretty
Was
bad.
it?
I do remember the profanity-laced I am that Shane sent me when he started seeing the credits roll in Star
Oh,
Fox.
I was so livid. Man, I was so livid. I wanted to kill and maim.
The thing I remember most every time I hear the word Star Fox 3DS come up is that picture of Miyamoto with his daughter at the wedding to the guy who developed the game. That picture immediately comes to my mind. That here the guy who developed and worked on that game, who is British, married his daughter.
I can see it now. Miyamoto's like, "Oh, so you want to develop Star Fox? This is my daughter. I'd like you to meet."
That's right. Yeah. Let me tell you. Let me lower the
Take
shotgun.
her off my hands.
And the last thing that I had in here, just to keep moving along, my wife and son have a couple of cartridges too, but Ridge Racer 3D was the last thing that was in my little clicker. Thoughts on Ridge Racer?
That wasn't bad. I enjoyed that. I like the confetti effect when
That was cool, right?
when you get to the finish line. The 3D confetti, yeah, that was pretty nifty at the time. I always thought that was cool.
I'll tell you, probably for the launch
Ridge
titles,
Racer.
some of the best 3D in the launch title lineup was the Ridge Racer.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'd totally
Right.
agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Man, is that all? I've got so many more here.
Well, I got Skylanders is in my kids' room, and
Yeah, Skylanders. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, Skylanders was fantastic. I still like the 3DS one more than I like the console version, but I know a lot of people dig the console one
yeah, I'm leaning towards the console.
for the co-op
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I've always said, the 3DS version just feels more like a mission pack, like to ramp up your guys' experience on the go, and then come back and plug it right into the Xbox or the Wii. It's like a secondary experience module.
Shall I rattle off a few?
Yeah,
more?
let's hit it, man.
So on the recommended list, I'd say Shinobi.
I'm dying to get that, but I just can't get it for less than $40.
Yeah, it's another one that they just don't reduce the price on for some reason.
I thought you were going to jump on that.
Yeah.
No, because remember the
I was
other
gonna
week,
get it.
remember Shane, I showed it to you. It was $23 on Amazon.
I
was shocked
almost
you didn't jump
I
on
almost pulled the trigger. I did, but I didn't. I was going to, but I didn't. I just got word that my wife is on her way home soon, so that
Okay.
means that our time is going to run to an end probably within 25 minutes.
Oh, cool,
So.
cool. Another one here that I got a lot of playtime out of was Pokemon Rumble Blast, which if you're a Pokemon fan and you're into all the gotta get 'em all thing, it's not an actual Pokemon game or a traditional
better look at that,
Pokemon
then.
RPG. But it's a lot of fun, and it's one of those games that there's a kind of a community behind it, and there's code trading and whatnot that goes on in the game. You have
Yeah,
it,
I like
don't you?
Rumble Blast.
Yeah, I don't have it yet.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
I do not have it. I should probably look into that, especially if it's not a traditional Pokemon game, because I've liked a lot of non-traditional Pokemon games. So
No, I mean this is like a one-button smash 'em up,
Yeah.
fighter. You run around, you beat up the other Pokemon, and then at certain points when you defeat them, you just roll over their bodies and you add them to your collection, and then you can use them to fight with. It's almost like a one-button final fight, because you literally only have your attack and then your special power attack. I mean, it's kind of senseless in a way. It's a button masher,
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. Gotta get them all, man. I gotta catch them all. I mean,
Yeah. What else do we have
beat the
here?
crap out of them.
Oh, what I'm playing now is Tales of the Abyss, which I'm having a lot
yeah, my
of fun
wife
with.
owns that. She loves it.
Yeah, I never played it on the PS2 because I didn't have a PS2 until a couple years ago. But it's really good. There's one complaint I have because it's voice acted and it's high production values and it's really well done. It's polished, everything you'd want in it, except for there's this one type of dialogue where it's like backstory dialogue that happens from time to time, and they just put up like two portraits of
Yeah.
you and the character you're talking to, and everything goes silent. The music stops and everything, and then you have to read.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen often. Most of the game is voice acted and everything, but it almost seems like they ran out of funding or something, and they still had more story to tell, and they just jammed it in there. I don't know what the deal was with that, but I'd heard the same thing in several reviews. So when it happened, I thought it was just review stuff where people are being harsh, but when it happens, it's really really weird. But other than that, it's very deep. A lot of typical JRPG fare, but more on the polished side. Really nice 3DS graphics.
Yeah, my wife is
there.
a complete whore about her JRPGs. In fact, she plays most of them on the PS3. She refused to play Tales of the Abyss, or what was the one that was on the Wii? What was on the Wii?
Xenoblade?
No, Tales of. Was it Tales of
Symphonia?
Maybe that was it. I mean, that's totally her game.
Symphonia was GameCube.
There's Eternal Sonata.
That's on the 360. She loves that.
Vesperia?
Yes,
Is
Tales
it
of
like
Vesperia
or something like
and
that?
it looks exactly like one of her games, but she is such a graphics whore that she would
Meanwhile,
not
I've
play.
never played any of these games.
She would-
Somehow I know their
Yeah,
names.
she would not. play
Vesperia
it
is
on
actually a 360 and a PS3 one. So I'm not sure what the
Yeah, the Wii one looked
the Wii
fine,
one
but
would
she's
be.
just like, not into it. The graphics aren't good enough. It's like, oh, fine, we'll get it on the 360, then you can play that. But Tales of the Abyss is got to have enough quality and enough production value where she loves it. So that's
I have that game still sitting in the Target bag. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to delve into it or not. I got to finish Resident Evil first.
You're almost done. Then you
But,
have some time. Then you have free time.
But the thing is, I've already got a backlog,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I heard this game's really long, this Tales from the Abyss. I heard it's
Yeah,
like a
it sure
40-hour
is.
game.
That's great.
Yeah.
40 hours.
And I don't know if there's only so much,
JRPG you can handle.
crimson-haired, 12-year-old sword fighting JRPG action I can handle in one sitting. I mean, I think I'm 40 hours into Skyrim. I don't know if I could invest that much time into this game.
I'll tell you though that like I get this one feeling when I play JRPGs, like it starts to feel like a chore a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I've invested this amount of time. I need to see the end. I haven't gotten that feeling yet playing Tales of the Abyss.
I got that with Skyrim.
I have to see how this 13-year-old companion girl, how she meets her end. I have to finish it. That's funny.
All right, what's next, Alex?
Well, wait,
Also-
real quick though. Let me ask you, Alex. The real-time battle, is that pretty cool? I mean, it sounds like it's just a button smasher thing, but I'm good with button smashers.
Yeah. Now you're able to switch between turn-based and real-time, and I went traditional. I went traditional because because
Takes too long.
well, I just feel like I'm more in control, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could play it either way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else do I have here? Ace Combat Assault Horizon
Yeah, I've been dying to get that one
Legacy.
too, but God, that one won't drop in price either.
Yeah, I grabbed that one on a buy one get one.
Yeah, Amazon had it for 30 at one
Yeah.
point for a couple of days there.
But this one's really good. It's top notch.
You said the voice
beautiful
acting was great,
visuals.
right?
Well, yeah, it's voice acted, but it's got that whole. I mean, the Ace Combat series. It's a Japanese influence and whatnot, but I almost got a Wing Commander vibe from it, based on the way the missions are set up, and they're not really long. Complex ones. It's very twitchy and very arcadey.
I was just going to say, it's more arcade-like versus sim-like. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I like my arcade ones.
Yeah, and you can pick it up and play. And the missions are like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and some of them are even shorter than that. So,
Nice.
you're not glued to this thing, and where your eyes are watering and stuff and whatnot. But it's but I like it. It's one of those ones where I played a bunch of it, and then something else sucked me in, and I haven't been back, which is why I haven't played Revelations, because I know it's going to take control, and I'm going to stop playing Tales of the Abyss. But yeah, that's I'd recommend that one. I think with all of these, with the very few exceptions, I'd always say get them on a deal. $40 is a lot to pay
Oh
for
yeah,
a game.
yeah.
Now there are some exceptions to that in your Mario Kart 7s and your Super Mario 3D Lands. I'd say you're safe paying your $40, but with these deals happening as often as they do, and then clearance sections at Target and then Amazon, which is great about 3DS deals.
Well, even when Toys R Us gives you like you buy one or two. I mean, even they'll have like a new game where you can at least get like a $5 or $10 gift card in return.
Yeah.
For buying. So you're getting something back.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I think the only games I managed to pay full price for are probably the Nintendo first parties, and that's just because they just don't want to drop. But you
Right.
still get a little bit of an incentive with something like an extra gift card or something. I mean, now Tales from the Abyss, of the Abyss rather. I get it mixed up with From the Abyss. There's too many games with Abyss in the name.
Yeah.
So
Popular RPG name.
but this was the one that I paid full price for because of the fact that I knew it was hard to find, and I saw 5 copies. And at Target, this Target never has anything. This was the same Target that at launch of Zelda Ocarina of 3DS had 0 of them. Meanwhile, every store everywhere had tons of them, but not Target. So when I saw that, I said, I'm going to pick that up. I mean, it's $40, but I'm still thinking about it. I consider it. There's just too many games out there that I don't want to blow my load on a game that may not be what I want it to be.
I'll tell you this much for that kind of game, and there was a limited run on it, from what I understand. At the very least, if you keep it sealed, it'll be worth something eventually, and that happens with DS games all the time. One such game, which I haven't played, but I have in my stack, is Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove 3D,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is a Natsumi game also. I turned Shane onto this also, and he picked one up. It is you can find them on eBay already for like $50, $60, and even $70.
Wow.
And for whatever reason, if you can find a copy at GameStop, you can get it for $9.99. Like I said,
Wow.
GameStop didn't get the memo or something, but it is really hard to find. I had to drive a little bit to get my copy, if I remember, but that's a tip for those of you listening who are collectors. Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove 3D. I think it was a WiiWare title, and it was converted.
Really?
Yeah, it was converted.
Yeah, because I know Shane and I had that discussion that one night when you were talking about. He said that you told him, "Hey, this is a hard game to find. If you see it, make sure you grab it." And I think I did see it at one point at Toys R Us, and I just kind of gave it a pass. I mean, it wasn't something that looked interesting to me, although it did have that a Wenden feel to it.
Yeah.
Where you're in time with the buttons. Although it is kind of odd that it looks like you're using the touch screen, but you're seeing the results of your touch on the top screen.
Right.
So it looks like there's a little bit of a disconnect in a way.
Yeah, it's like I said, $10 at GameStop. I'd say definitely go for
Nice.
it. If I saw it at Toys R Us for $30 or whatever, I might think twice. But I haven't seen it in any stores. This Gabrielle's Ghostly Groove 3D.
Yeah, I got that one sitting there too. I just passed it by because I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah. But jump on eBay and take a look. I mean, the people are paying crazy money for it for whatever reason. I think it's just one of those limited run games. Natsumi does that, even with their Harvest Moon series. The Harvest Moon games never drop in price, which I guess brings me to Harvest Moon 3D. Which one was it? This, you know what? I'll tell you right now. That's a sign that it was bad. That I don't remember what the name is. The Tale of Two Towns. Direct DS port that's tacked on 3D. I mean, it's typical Harvest Moon, but it's not one of the better ones.
Well,
in fact,
from From what I understand, it's been afflicted with some major bugs too. If you
Oh,
look
really?
online and do a Google search for it, it sounds like there's a lot of to the point where the game has to be rebooted in order to be played again.
Wow.
Wow.
There's certain parts of the game where it just completely freezes and locks up. Check out some of the Amazon reviews alone, but you can Google it and look on Natsumi's forums, and because that was one of the games I wanted to get my sister for Christmas. I ended up getting her the DS version, which I felt
Yeah, I'm not
horrible about.
surprised that it's got problems because I remember it was pushed back like 3 times
Mm.
for release, and yeah, when you load the thing up, you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is exactly like the DS version. It's just they took like 3 different depths and put the background in and put a couple characters in the second depth and a couple on the third and called it 3D. But which is a shame. I kind of like the Harvest Moon games. Are kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, but I'm hoping the next one I'm hearing good things about. There's a lot of hype surrounding that.
We are literally
Um,
down to less than 15 minutes, so we probably should call it more like 10.
Okay.
50 minutes?
15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah, she's on her way, so she always makes better time than I think she's going
Oh
to.
boy.
I just
Alright.
got, I guess, 2 more I can cover really quick. Devil Survivor Overclocked is one that another one I got dragged away from, but I want to get back to. That one is similar to the Harvest Moon. It's a 3D version of a DS game, but they actually added a bunch of stuff to this one. They actually added content and features and whatnot. But that's one of those ones where if you're into Shin Megami, that's one of those things I read
Tensei,
often,
yeah.
but I don't say it a lot.
Right.
But yeah, it's Atlas.
Well, I know one of the things they did, speaking of you're saying the features they added, I do know it's got full voice acting now.
Yeah, it sure does.
Which is a big deal for this game. Yeah, I mean, Alex was kind enough to get Shane and I a copy of this for Christmas. It was very nice. And I was playing around with it a little bit, but I saw that this is a game that's going to take up a lot of time. And I'm thinking, I'm going to play it, but I want to make sure I have the right frame of mind, and I have to be in the mood to play it. So, I mean, at the time, also Mario Land 3D came out. And
It's really hard
that's-
when you
that
get
sucked me in.
overshadowed like that.
Mario Kart was out. I mean, I was sucked into those, and that's good. That I feel is going to be like my Tales of the Abyss. I mean, I gotta take a game because I am so horrible at taking a game and playing it for like 20 hours or something, getting almost halfway through the game, and then I get distracted by another game, and then I forget to go back and finish it, and then when I do, I forget where I left off, and I end up restarting the entire game.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and that's why I don't want to get into that with Resident Evil. I'm trying to just punch that out of the way and get it done, so that I feel horrible thinking that way, but it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter
Sure.
if I want to rush the experience, because then I got raid mode left over.
Yeah, we got to get some.
Yeah,
You and I
yeah.
got to get some raid mode on for sure.
When do you unlock that, by the way?
It's only like 4 or 5 chapters in, I think, or episodes in.
Yeah.
You'll unlock it.
Oh,
It's not too
only,
bad.
I'm only one in. So.
Yeah, well, trust me. Once you
Well.
get past the "Am I still down the same corridor?" bit, you'll be hooked on it like we are. It's just fantastic.
Cool. But yeah, this Devil Survivor Overclocked is another one that's gotten hard to find. So if it's something you're interested in, it's probably worth
Standard Atlas
grabbing
short
sooner
run.
rather than later. And then I guess the last one I'll mention is, and this one is one of those ones where it's just really depends on whether you're into this kind of game, and so your mileage may value, or your mileage may
It's laid
what
over
is it?
there.
vary.
Very.
James Noir's Hollywood Crimes by
I got that
by
from my wife.
Ubisoft.
That's another one that I don't
Yeah.
have in my possession because my wife took it.
Yeah, it's if you're a fan of those old like '90s full motion video type
Which
games,
I am.
And there's a fun cheesiness to the
I
whole
love
thing.
that stuff. I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, so it's made in that style, but they did some really cool stuff with 3D. They take this. I won't spoil it for you, but they take a picture of you at the beginning of the game, and then they do cool things with it throughout the
Sweet.
throughout the experience.
Nice.
So make sure it's a picture you like. But mine is this really creepy picture because I was laying in bed, and it's like my face with my hair all messed up.
Ooh, that's
and it's
creepy.
like in the dark with the light of the 3DS like flashing in my face. But it's still hilarious when it comes out in the game.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Corey Haim is James Noir.
but
You let that
little
sucker
Dana
get to
Plato
the
action.
box.
Yeah, put a little Dana Plato in there.
I'd be there, man. I'd be there. Yeah,
But yeah, you know, it was one of those
Relax.
ones
It's just a
that was $40 for
Ever
a while,
was
and
$40.
it would never drop. And eventually, it became a $20 game. I think at GameStop and a couple other
yeah.
places.
It was
I don't remember.
you turned me on when it hit 1877 at Amazon. I picked it up.
There you go.
So
There you go.
I was watching
That's
close
good
because
year.
my wife didn't have a lot of content, for the 3DS. So I was watching and watching and watching, and it just wouldn't drop. And I said, "You'll get it when it hits $20." And as soon as it did, boom. So, all right. Well, hey, if that was the last one you had, I guess let's wrap it up. Let's say some sage words about the next year, and yeah.
Well, there's a ton of stuff coming. We still have Kid Icarus this month. We've got I guess Mario Tennis Open is coming, which is going to have online. And
Finally, online.
yeah,
Based
yeah.
Nintendo gods. Thank you.
And then after that, that'll carry us through to E3, and at E3, I'm hoping we learn when we can expect Animal Crossing. And
Vacation week. Thank you.
yeah,
And we got Luigi's Mansion coming.
Luigi's Mansion.
We got
2
Paper
is gonna be
Mario.
Paper
fantastic.
Mario's
Yeah.
coming.
Animal Crossing.
It's going to be a sick year
And-
for the 3DS.
Fire Emblem.
And you know what? Next month, and it's on my radar, and a lot of people, who don't follow gaming news regularly and stuff, they might not even know this is coming. But Square Enix is coming out with this. Was it Heroes of Ruin?
Oh my God, I can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
That looks
I'm
fantastic.
drooling thinking about that.
Wait a minute. That's coming out at the end of the month, right?
The end of April, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it
April,
got
because
pushed
I
back.
swore Amazon.
It did. Amazon had it.
Because Amazon said something like March 31st
Yeah, that's
or
that's
something.
code word
something
for
like-
it's at least another 30 days after that.
Yeah, but that game has some really sophisticated online drop in, drop out online. It's like Square Enix is and don't be afraid by the Square Enix thing. My understanding is because some people might think, well, it's a JRPG. It's not. It's actually a more of a Western style RPG, similar to Diablo or maybe not. Maybe Diablo's
Untold
not a good-
Legends.
Yeah, it's, Torchlight. Untold Legends is a really good example of what this is kind of modeled after. But that one is one. It's coming soon, and I think it's going to be a real hit for the 3DS. I can
It's
just
been
imagine.
built from the ground up for it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not like a port or anything. And meanwhile, it looks like our time is coming to an end because Shane is on the phone with his bookie.
Can you imagine? I start this Heroes of Ruin up. I start playing. I'm playing for 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
then suddenly you jump in.
Yeah.
This
I don't
jump
know.
in,
I
jump
just
out
looked
is
down and it
perfect.
said
There's
missed
none
call.
of the scheduling
awesome.
or BS, which is kind of a
Yeah, I
big deal
sent it
for a
to you. I texted
handheld.
it
I don't
to
think
you.
there are whether it's on
All right.
Sony's or Nintendo handhelds. There hasn't been a game like that where you can just check your friends list. See, I
love you.
Chris is playing, Heroes of Ruin. Let me jump in, and you jump in for 30 minutes, and you jump out, and next thing you know,
awesome.
Shane jumped in, or
And then not only that, but now like poor Rubik won't have to rely on Swapnote to schedule his games.
That's true. That's true. Would you like to play Mario Kart 7?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, I got
3
that
days
message
later.
a week ago. Is that still available?
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then, can you imagine? E3 is going to be just epic with the whole Wii U thing. But with 3DS, last E3 when they announced Luigi's Mansion, they showed Luigi's Mansion, they showed Animal Crossing, they showed all this stuff we weren't expecting. Kid Icarus. Can you imagine getting another 3 or 4 things we haven't even heard of?
Well, that's the thing. Nintendo likes to throw these little surprises out at you too. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get another. Maybe we'll get like a Metroid Prime. A first-person 3D Metroid Prime. I bet that's somewhere in the cooking somewhere in somebody's development lab right now as we speak.
Of course.
Yeah, I posted a picture on Google Plus. Some guy was in an EB Games in Canada, and there's this Donkey Kong 3D, like an actual case with a cover saying coming in 2012. So I'm wondering if that was just an assumption, or it seems like they wouldn't design a case cover if it were just an assumption.
It's much more. Whoa, hello.
Oh, hello.
I was much more actually interested in the fact that there was a Super Smash Brothers box to the right of it.
And it said coming 2012, which they haven't committed to. So yeah, I mean, we knew that was coming eventually. They promised that, but the whole coming 2012 is a big deal.
All right, guys. Well, this was fun.
Yes, it was.
We'll have to try to do this again at some point.
I think this is my second DSR.
Yeah, right?
3DSR.
3DSR.
Yes.
3 dual screen radios. All right, guys. Well, it's late for you guys.
3 dual screen douchebags, right?
All right, guys. Well, take it easy, and we'll try this again hopefully soon.
Yeah, maybe 2013.
Yeah, 2013. We'll all get together again. It'll be when Planet X comes back into rotation again is when we'll probably have this one.
So join us next year for the Wii U Minute Radio.
All right, guys.